So what's up, live? How's everybody doing? Of course, we got the ring light on because it's dark outside, no natural light. Gonna wait just a couple of seconds here for Instagram to send out notifications for anybody that wants to be here for this live stream. I'm here again with my paid ass guy, my brother Jeremiah Reeves. I am. Follow him on all the social media. I'm gonna tag him in the caption of this video as well. What I want to talk to you guys about is reverse engineering how to make $1 million in a year, right? So what me and him was talking about offline, all right, and this is what our goal is to build all of our businesses up to, but you got to do the math. You got to have a realistic goal, all right? So for a lot of people, their first goal is I want to make $100,000 a year. And then you make $100,000 a year, you do that consistently, and then naturally people say, well, I want to make $1 million, right? So if your goal is to make $1 million in a year, we're using a fictitious business for this example. What I want you guys to take away from this is the strategy. So this strategy will work whether you're trying to build a business that makes $50,000, $100,000, or $1 million, right? What I want you to take away from this is that you got to do the math and you got to know your numbers. So we're going to use the example of if you had a luxury car rental business and you on average are going to make around $4,500 per transaction. We're saying you're down in Miami somewhere. People come down, they're going to rent it for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then go back to wherever they live. So luxury Lamborghini or whatever luxury vehicle out there, the price fluctuates, depends on the model. I've seen it anywhere from as low as $1,000, maybe $800, as high as over $2,000. So we had to pick a number just for the sake of this example. So we're going to say you're going to get one in the middle of the road. You're not going to get the cheapest one, but you're also not going to get the most expensive one as well, right? So all of that said, to lay the foundation, because I wanted you guys to understand what we're talking about here. I'm going to turn it over to, again, Jeremiah, my paid ass guy. And again, he's going to reverse engineer how to make $1 million in a year through paid ads. All right. So put your questions in the chat. Make sure everything makes sense to you. It's probably going to be reversed. So he's going to read everything to you until we figure out a system where we can make it so we can still read you guys' comments and still give the presentation. So
we ain't even factor in how many followers and stuff they would get. Their social media crazy.
Yeah, this is just money.
Yeah.
Right? This is just money. So enough of me talking. Put your questions in there as they come up and we'll answer all of your questions at the end. But I'm gonna turn it over to you, my brother.
All right, so what I want you to always understand, right? Anything is possible, man. If you can see it in your mind, you can envision it in your mind, you can write it down. It can be done. We can manifest almost anything, right? So a lot of people do not do the math, man. We want to do the math. We want, everything is an equation. Making money is an equation. Being successful is an equation. Waking up and breathing is an equation. You feel what I'm saying? So let's just break down how we can realistically, on paper, make money so we can find out how much we need to make per sale, how much we need to make every month, how much we need to make such and such. Now, big tip, big nugget. Now me and JT, we kind of guessed at the beginning. It's like, okay, how much ad spend are we going to do? And I said, honestly, JT, man, I think you're going to spend 30% of however much you want to make on ads to reach that goal, right? So we ended up dang near hitting it right on the head. So this is where we at, right? So we want to make $1 million a year, right? That big milli, you know what I'm saying? So that's 333 a month. So y'all already know the big dog, right? So our product, right? We're selling a $4,500 luxury.
Yeah, luxury car rental
luxury car. So we in the lamb truck. You know what I'm saying? We in that spider. We in that thing to make your back hurt. You know what I'm saying?
It's a rental package, you guys. Rental. Yeah, a 3-day rental package.
So it's $4,500, right?
Yeah.
So what we would have to do is the average conversion for a business is 3%, right? So what we would do is we would divide how much our profit would be, which is $4,500. We would divide that by how much we need to make a month, right? So we took that number and then we find out 3% of the number we find out how many offers we need to make, because my business rule is the more offers you make, the more money you make, right? So it came down to 25 sales a month at 45,000.
4,500.
4,500. I'm tripping. 4,500. You'll be at
112.
100. Shoot, I'm tripping. 112,500. God dang it, Jesus! We just did so much math like early off screen, bro. My brain is going crazy, right? So that breaks down to 833 offers a month, which also breaks down to 28 offers a day, right? So, with that being said, we need to find, now we're going to move over here, right? So now we're going to move to our sales funnel. Now we're about to drop a video about sales funnel on JT's YouTube. So y'all guys make sure y'all lock into that because we're going to be breaking down sales funnels, but just bear with us because you might not get it, but you're going to watch the video, get it, then come back and apply it to this, right? So we're going to be running conversion ads to get leads, right? So what we're going to be trying to do is get names, numbers, and phone numbers, right? So we can sit them down and close them for a $4,500 package, right? So we need to find out how much does it cost for us to get a lead? How much does it cost for us to get a sale, right? So we need 833 leads a month, right? Because we need to make 25 sales. We need to send out 833 offers a month because 25 is 3% of 833 and an average business conversion rate is 3%, right? Y'all follow me? So 833 times 30. That will give us, we need to spend $24,990, right? So if we want 833 leads at $30 per lead, we need to spend $24,990, right? So as you can see, we're making $112,500, right? So what is we making a month? We're going to be subtracting our profits minus our ad budget. That's going to give us $87,510. We do that times 12. We got 1,000,000 of 1050120. Damn it, we over $1 million, right? And then we're going to spend $299,800 on ad spend, which rounds out to about 28% of what it was that we wanted to make. That was more difficult to like the mental bad, bro. I'm like, yo.
Yeah, I want to point out some. I want to point out just some important takeaways from this, but I wanted him to break it down for you guys. Appreciate everybody that's here right now. So, let's say you're not interested in the luxury car rental business. Still, the takeaways from this is knowing the math that $1 million a year is going to equal out to a little over $83,000 a month. That's important because if you're not hitting your monthly milestones on average, you'll never hit your annual milestones. It don't matter if this was 100,000 and then this dropped down to 8,300 or whatever your numbers are. That's your goal. So I recommend that whatever your goals are, set your goals. Monitor your goals to keep you on track on average. Now, with these numbers, we do understand in life, not every month will you have an $83,000 month, right? Like COVID may hit or anything can happen in business. So these are averages. So maybe some months this number is lower, some months this number is higher. That's just how it works out in real life. But that doesn't discount the necessity that you need to know what your numbers are, or you'll never hit your ultimate goal. All right. So also I want to point out that if your goal is bigger, right, like $1 million, it will help if you had a high ticket item. Like in this case, if you're doing luxury car rental packages, you can get it for Friday, Saturday, Sunday for $4,500 or etc. Right? Then it's easier. You can do 25 transactions in a month and hit your numbers. Now, if you're selling a t-shirt that's $40, you got to do far more transactions, all right, and it's going to be more difficult for you. That doesn't mean that it's impossible. That's why I wanted to share this blueprint with you, all right? So keep that in mind. Over here, your cost per lead, this is actually, we looked it up, this is the highest in the auto industry right now. So what I want you guys to understand is that your cost per lead, especially when you're a new business, is going to be high. But as you continue your paid ad campaign, it's the same people seeing your advertisement over and over again. So this should drop down. So year one, you paying $30 per lead to get a conversion, right? When we talk about customer acquisition costs, so that means that you spend $30, all right, $30 in ads to make a single sale. But as you grow your brand, as you continue to market your business, this 30 should gradually go down. Not saying it'll go to zero, but it shouldn't be at industry high levels the entire time. So that is going to also make it easier for you to hit these numbers as well, right? And being realistic, the goal here is for you to see, like he said, expect to spend 30% of what you want to make. So if your goal is $1 million, expect to spend $300,000. That does not mean that you got to start off with $300,000 and just dump it into business. All right. You might only start off with $10,000, but you need to know, if my goal is to make $1 million in a year, I need to be reinvesting heavily back into my business, because on average, I'm going to spend around 30%. All right. And of course, as you build your brand, as you continue to run ads, you might get it down a little bit lower. But I just want you to have a realistic mentality going into it. So what I'm going to do is read any questions you guys have. As always, y'all let me know if it makes sense. If it does, hey, apply it. Right.
Yeah, we can't count today.
It's
I ain't counting well today at all. But y'all see the math.
Yeah.
You know, you just got to break the numbers down, man. Things become more realistic when you reverse engineer it, when you break it down into its micro form, man. And it's just, anything is achievable. Yep. Anything is achievable if you break it down, man. For real.
Okay, they said, what's the best way to market a low-ticket product? Like, for example, I have my book dropping, and it's only $20. Would it even make sense to run ads?
It always makes sense to run ads. You got to think about it like this, right? You need to find your average cost per sale.
Yep.
You feel what I'm saying? You have to find that. So if you got a $20 book, we got a lot of ribble rabble. So if you got I said ribble rabble. We got a lot of stuff up here. If you got a $20 book, you need to be prepared to spend 30% of that. That's gonna be your cost per sale. You feel what I'm saying?
Around about six.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. And I mean, it's a rule of thumb for me. I ain't gonna lie. Whatever my product is, I need to be willing to spend at least half of that to get a sale. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Now, if I got a $100 product, I need to be willing to spend about $50 to get a sale. Now, whether it's per day or, you know, we just got to figure out what our number is.
I agree with you, but I want you guys to understand that those numbers make sense on a digital product.
Exactly.
All right, so I do agree with you, but if you got a physical product, now you got to deduct the
shipping
cost of the cost of goods,
overhead,
right?
And
then that's going to cut into it. So if you're only doubling your money off of it, okay, it costs you $7 to make the shirt, and then you trying to sell it for $25, but you're going to spend $12.50 on advertising it plus the $7 to make it. Right now you got razor thin margins, and it's going to be really hard for you to build a sustainable business with no real profits like that.
And he has to have his goals. I mean, what numbers do you want? Like, you can just break down, do the math. You're going to have 3% of, you know what I'm saying? You're going to have a 3% conversion rate. So how many orders do you want to have? You know what I'm saying? So based off how many orders you want to have, you're going to have to send out a certain amount of offers. And out of those certain amount of offers, you're going to have 3% of those people that close. You know what I'm saying? So you got to have your numbers. You got to have tangible things. You know, what's that saying that they say, you know, you got to be specific when you're praying. You know what I'm saying? God, you know, the Lord can't bless you if you don't know what it is you want. You got to be, Lord, I need this Lambo. I need you to put a bow on it. I need horses in the back. Like, you got to be specific. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can't just be in limbo. That's just all I'm saying. You just have to be specific. Nobody can really help you if you don't know your numbers, if you don't know realistically what you want to do.
Yeah, I would say if you got a $20 product and it's a physical product, so now maybe you can't spend $10 in advertising it, then like you still need to find out what your customer acquisition cost is. And it's different for everybody because your brand does play a role in what's your customer acquisition cost, right? So if Tyler Perry made a movie and was trying to sell tickets, his customer acquisition cost will probably be lower than if you and I made a movie and tried to sell tickets. So you find this out by just actually running ads. I recommend you do like maybe $1 a day, $5 a day, whatever you can afford to do, right? I don't know if I should tell y'all what I'm doing right now.
I did want to. No.
Oh, yeah.
I did want to interject. Because this is why you may need a sales funnel. Because instead of you sending them directly to your page for them to buy it, you send them to the funnel where you can nurture them and get them. You know what I'm saying? You can end up your closing rate will be a lot higher. Instead of you sending 30 people directly to your website, you send 30 people to your email list. You get their name, number, and phone number. You close higher. Your conversion rates are higher. You know what I'm saying? That's why I always preach. You got to get them in a funnel.
Yeah. So what that looks like for you, for anybody that's new, not trying to insult the intelligence of anybody that already knows this, is that when they see your advertisement and they click that link to learn more, buy now, whatever it is, instead of taking them straight to your product or service, you take them to a landing page, also called a splash page, and you ask them for their name, their phone number, their email address, and then that page forwards them to the product page, right? Because lots of time the lifetime value of the customer is above the amount of profit you're going to make in a single transaction. And most businesses go out of business because they never get their customer acquisition costs below the lifetime value of the customer. So most businesses fail because what he's saying is, hey, you're going to run an ad, somebody clicks your ad, they go straight, they go straight to the product page. Now, if they buy something, cool. But you might have spent, like in this case, you might have spent $30 to get that lead, which is high, but they only buy your $20 book. So you didn't really make $20 profit. You still lost 10. If you don't have their email address or their phone number, you can't retarget them for the next book or a consultation or a t-shirt or whatever it is, because you got to recoup that loss. And if that happens too many times, right, you go out of business, you go bankrupt. So it's super important that you do have that landing page or that splash page, because it's more cost effective to retarget them. And psychologically, just think about it. If you had a great experience with any business, you went to a restaurant and the food was amazing for you and your lady, there's a good chance that you might take her back there one day. If you go there and you find roaches in your food, you'll never go there. You'll tell your family members to never go there. And the same thing with your business. So you want to have that brand and you want to capture that information, because that can make it more cost effective as well. I'll tell you, most businesses don't recoup their entire, especially let's talk about new businesses, right? So let's put it in a box. Most new businesses, right, don't make numbers that make sense for you to not have a landing page or a splash page, meaning that the amount of profit, once you factor in all your expenses, is not high enough to justify how much you spent to get that single transaction. So you need to retarget them using a Aweber or a MailChimp or an Easy Texting or a Ringless voice message or something like that. And that's a necessity, right? So I know like many of you probably get more emails than you care to even talk about, much less open. But it's important that these businesses continue to email and text and leave you voice messages and etc., because that's literally what's going to keep them afloat and what's going to keep them in business. And the same thing is true with yours as well. But again, I would say that the great equalizer, what can help you out a lot, is your brand, building a brand. For anybody that doesn't know what I mean when I say build a brand, build your reputation, right? So if you got a great reputation, you can now get leads for cheaper, right? So your lead generation drops down, and now it's easier for you to make a sale because people are going to do business with people they like, know, or trust, right?
And you still got these people. Remember, like all 833 of these leads, we still got them. Yeah. So every time they come back, we sending out emails, we following up with them. Now it doesn't cost us $30 anymore. They just come back. So that we spent that 30, they already coming back. I mean, they 2 or 3 times they bought from us, like, psh,
yeah.
Boy.
And I don't know if you publishing your book through Amazon KDP, but they're going to tell you how much money that they're going to charge you to make the book. So, and I talk about this in the course, but just for the sake of the person, Travis, that answered the question, we'll jump on it. But let's say that, okay, your cost to make the book is like $2.50, but they're also doing a 60-40 split your way. So that means that the book sells at $10 or $20, whatever it is. But for easy math, let's say $10, right? And as soon as it sells, they take $4 off top. You're expecting to make $6 out of that transaction. Well, they're also going to take that $2.50 or whatever it is to produce the book out of your split as well. So you're not making $6, you're making $3.50 on it as well. So if you're only making $3.50 on a book, then you got to ask yourself realistically, can I afford to spend $5 as my customer acquisition cost? So maybe you got to increase the price of your item. That's the point that I'm getting at. So once you factor in all of your relevant expenses, right, it's important to know, okay, this is what I have to charge. And you don't just raise prices just because. All right, now this math in that example I just gave you, it would make sense to say, okay, I have to raise my prices because if I'm spending $5 to get a sale, and after Amazon takes their cut and takes the split to make the book, I'm not making $5, I'm losing $2 or whatever the math works out to. Now you have to ask yourself, how can you increase the value of the book? So this is something that you could think about proactively. So, okay, all right, I'm going to give them some more game because now instead of charging them $10 or $20 for a book and the numbers don't make sense, I'm going to charge them $45 for a book. The most money I ever spent for a book that wasn't a college textbook was like $100. I ain't gonna lie, right? But it had a lot of game in it. And when you have a niche audience that understands your value, you can charge whatever it is that you want for that book. So I would definitely say run your numbers. Yes, ads do work. So I would say that the only alternative to running ads is organic growth. Organic growth is slower. It costs more money in the long run, and it gives people a false perception of actually being a business owner and not just being stuck in the box of an owner operator. What I mean by that is that early on in the business, if you don't have a lot of money to run ads, you'll say, well, I got to do some guerrilla marketing. I got to do some organic growth to try to build the business up. Okay, bet. Then you get some success. And then you say, you know what? I don't need to pay for ads because I built it up from the ground up. Pride gets in the way. It happened to me, happened to many other people. And now you say, you know what? I don't need to give Google or Facebook or any of these platforms my money to generate sales. I can do it myself. I built it from the ground up. And now you become the single breaking point of your business. So what happens when you get sick, right? What happens when your star player gets sick? What happens when you want to go on vacation? So everything is on you. So that's why I've seen it and I've had to battle it as well. You get the false impression of saying, okay, you know what? Now that I built this from the ground up, I got it out the mud. I don't need to run ads. But now that's not a system that's wise to teach your kids. Now your kids are doing what they saw mama and daddy do. The grandkids is doing what their parents did. And highly successful businesses, they have business systems. They're automated. They're able to make money, right? For all we know, we don't know if the owner of Walmart is sick or not, right? The owner of McDonald's, the owner of you name it, right? Any big company, because the business is still going to open up tomorrow at the normal time. Why? Because they got systems in place and they're going to still be productive and they're going to consistently give us the same value. And it's not dependent on a single man or a single woman that say, well, I got it out the mud and built this business from the ground up. Right. So I don't need to give anybody any money. I'm going to just do everything myself, right? So I do want to encourage you guys to, hey, I'll be the first one to tell you, if you ain't got the money right now and you got to get it out the mud, you get it out the mud. But once you get into a position where you start making profits, you need to invest back into your business. If that means raising the prices, raise the prices. That's supply and demand. Lots of times people have a hard time doing that. They'll say, well, I don't want to lose any customers. However, you'll either go out of business because you're afraid to raise your prices so that you can stay in business and automate your business and work on your business, not in your business, right? Or you'll go out of business because you ain't making enough money and now you the single breaking point. And as soon as something happens, there's not enough profit for the business to sustain itself. So either way, right, you're giving yourself a false sense of hope, thinking that, okay, I might as well just do this for forever, but I don't want to raise my prices because I don't want to lose any customers, right? So over time, I remember back in the day where a McDouble used to be $1.
Right.
So, hey, you could go.
That 10 on there.
Yeah.
That 20.
Yeah, so now,
$5
now gradually, it's going to be that soon, right? So it's gradually going up. That's just supply and demand. Mm-hmm. All right, my mom is older. She a senior citizen. She remember when you could have got penny candy. You could put penny in a machine and turn it, get a handful of candy, right? Right now, a penny can't buy you nothing. Yeah, so it's the same candy, right? Because she'll tell me, I remember you could get a fistful of that for a penny. Now it's a quarter or 50 cents or whatever it is in a vending machine. So you got to understand that your business has to do that as well, because inflation is going to increase whether your business increase with it or not, right? So it's not about you being a bad man or a bad woman and you trying to take advantage of people. Successful businesses sometimes have to fire their customers, right? Because you might have customers that'll do transactions with you, but they're not your ideal customer. They're not in your target audience, right? So a used Lamborghini right now, all right, you can get a '07 for around $190,000. So you can go there and say, okay, I really like what this used Lamborghini looked like, but $190,000 is too much money. I give you $40,000 for it. They don't drop the ticket to $40,000 just so they can sell it, right? They hold out for the man or woman that's in their target audience. All right, so you need to build a system where you say, okay, this is what I need to charge to turn the profits that I need to turn, to preserve my brand equity, and we're going to have a system in place where we can charge what we need to charge, target the right people, and we're not desperate that, okay, well, just to make a sale, we'll cut prices in half, or we'll drop prices to a third, or whatever it is we got to do, because many of us from low-income environments will say, well, making some money is better than no money, but that's not how highly successful business owners think, right? So it's not that, okay, we rather have crumbs than nothing at all. No, we're going to build profitable businesses, all right? So if we just wanted to struggle and barely get by until we're an old person, we can stay at a job, all right? Because now you don't got to take on the risk. You go to work, you do what you're told, you struggle, and then at a certain age, whenever they tell you you're done your time and you go retire, you retire, and you don't have to have any other risk of everything being on you like you're going to have as an entrepreneur. So the whole point of an entrepreneur is to get that time freedom. It's to get that financial freedom. It's not to just say, well, okay, I'm going to make just enough money to get by. You can get by with less risk, right? Just being honest with you. But I'm all about entrepreneurship, investing. And hey, any last words before we get out of here? I'm gonna see if
man, just you know what I'm saying, just advertise your business. That's just how I feel. Just advertise your business, man. Get your business to as many qualified people as possible. Build your email list. Have a funnel. Have a system to where people can go and become a part of your community. And you just gotta, you know what I'm saying? You guys just gotta advertise your business, create a list, and get this money, man.
Yeah, man. Shout out to GM George for the badge and Travis_GW. All right, so hey, until next time, man, y'all stay hustling.
We out here. Yeah, bro.